I remembered a dream that I had, and in that dream, God told me that someone in your family would have cancer, but don't despair, it'll be okay. But I never would have dreamed I was the person who was going to have the cancer.
In December 2018, while on his way home from work, Kevin Bryan began to experience what he thought was a gallbladder attack. He immediately drove to the nearest emergency room.
I kept having nurses coming in and out, and they'd be asking questions like, do you have a living will? Do you have a power of attorney? And then I thought, that's not good.
When doctors realized this was more serious than a gallbladder attack, Kevin was quickly transferred to Ohio State University Hospital. His family, including his daughter and registered nurse Amanda, rushed to his side.
When they called me, I knew something was up, and I had so many different feelings and different thoughts. But like I said, I was trying to diagnose him and figure it out.
The biopsy revealed Kevin had liposarcoma, cancer of the soft tissues, with a stage 4 rapidly growing tumor on his kidney, crushing his stomach and lungs.
I was just asking God. I was praying constantly, like, if it's your will for him to be healed, please heal him. If we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know. And it's hard because we're heartbroken, we're scared, but I just kept leaning on him. It was the only thing I could do.
Anytime you hear the word tumor, cancer, it's very surreal. The world comes crashing down on your shoulders at that point. That's really how I felt that day. And it was rough. Start having doubts about whether or not you're going to make it. But then I had to come back and remember that God gave me that promise in my dream. And that's what I held on to. It's the only thing I could hold on to.
Doctors said the tumor was clearly too large for treatment and needed to be removed. But because of its tremendous size, the surgery to remove it could be fatal.
As the daughter, I was very nervous. I was very worried. I thought this might be our last time together, that it was time for him to go to heaven, and I wasn't ready for that. I tried to explain it to the kids and all of that. It was a lot, and I would be okay one minute, and the next time I would bawl my eyes out. There was many times that I just didn't know how I felt, but I know that I held my faith with God.
The doctor told me, he said, it's very bad. He said, I want to explain how bad this is. Said, we don't know how this outcome is going to come on this one. He said, you need to have your affairs in order. I prayed to God, and I said, God, if it's your will, then I'm praying that you heal me.
3 weeks later, the day of surgery arrived. Doctors expected an 8 to 12 hour procedure. Then they saw that the tumor was even larger than anticipated. Now, over 23 pounds.
I do not believe that they realized how large the tumor would be. They was just as shocked. They knew it was large, but they wasn't sure what to expect.
Despite its size, they managed to remove it all in just 3 hours, and Kevin was going to be just fine.
When it came out the size, I actually couldn't believe. I was just in shock. I just knew. I knew God was in it.
Kevin has been cancer-free ever since, with no lingering side effects. He supports others through a survivors clinic as one of the few stage 4 cancer survivors. Though he now lives with one kidney, he lives with more faith and purpose than ever. I
do feel like God has healed me, and God has saved me and strengthened me. And I'm not saying I didn't believe. I knew he was there, and I had that belief, but I feel like I have more of a personal relationship with God, knowing that he's there and he will answer prayers. And I personally have seen different miracles since then happen.
I learned most from God during the whole ordeal, that he's going to be with us, that he's going to love us through it. He's not going to shelter us from everything. He's not meant to shelter us from everything, because it's during those weak moments when we're in the valley that we grow closer to him.
When I look at my family, God has really emphasized the importance of relationships. And that is more important than anything you can ever own, anything you can ever have or ever hold, is your relationships with him as well as with your family. The reality is God controls everything. And when we accept his sovereignty and we accept his decisions, his will be done, then we will see miracles happen.